and equipment. However, here are some general steps that are typically followed. Prep the area. Make sure the area where the cutting will take place is clean and free of any debris or other obstacles. The area should also be well lit, and the temperature should be cool to prevent spoilage of the fish. Secure the fish. The tuna should be placed on a sturdy cutting surface or table, and its head should be secured with a rope or clamp to prevent it from moving around during the cutting process. Remove the head. Use a sharp and sturdy knife to cut through the gills and the spine to remove the head. This can be a difficult and time-consuming task, as the head of a large tuna is very heavy and can be difficult to maneuver. Gut the fish. After removing the head, the tuna should be gutted by making a cut along its belly and removing its internal organs. This should be done carefully to avoid puncturing the stomach or intestines, which can contaminate the meat. Remove the loins. The loins, or the meat along the spine, can then be removed by making cuts along either side of the backbone. This is where the majority of the meat is located and is the most valuable part of the fish. Separate the belly meat. The belly meat is another valuable part of the tuna and should be carefully removed using a sharp knife. Clean and trim the meat. Once all the meat has been removed from the fish, it should be carefully cleaned and trimmed to remove any remaining bones, skin, or other unwanted parts. Store the meat. The meat should be stored in a cool place or on ice until it can be processed further or sold. It is important to note that this is a general overview of the cutting process, and that there may be variations depending on the specific situation and the preferences of the person doing the cutting. As mentioned earlier, it is recommended that only experienced professionals attempt to handle and cut a large tuna. Cutting a 500 kilograms giant bluefin tuna is not an easy task and requires some expertise and experience. It is recommended that you seek the assistance of a professional fishmonger or butcher who has experience in cutting large fish. However, here are some general steps that can be followed. Start by cleaning the fish. Remove the scales, fins, and head of the fish. Also, remove the internal organs, gills, and bloodline. Cut the fish into sections. Use a sharp knife to cut the fish into manageable sections. This will make it easier to handle and cut into smaller pieces. Cut the sections into fillets. Use a sharp knife to cut the sections into fillets. Cut along the spine of the fish and remove the skin. Cut the fillets into portions. Cut the fillets into portions of the desired size. This will depend on how you plan to cook and serve the fish. Store the fish. Store the portions of fish in airtight containers in the refrigerator or freezer until ready to use. Remember, cutting a large fish like a 500 kilograms giant bluefin tuna requires skill and knowledge. It is important to use a sharp knife and take your time to ensure that you cut the fish properly. Handling and cutting a 500 kilograms giant bluefin tuna requires a great deal of expertise, knowledge, and specialized tools. Here are the general steps involved. Make sure the fish is properly chilled. The fish should be chilled on ice as soon as it is caught to prevent bacterial growth and preserve its quality. The fish should be kept at a temperature of around 0 to 4 degrees Celsius until it is ready to be caught. Prepare the workspace. The workspace should be clean and free of any debris. A large, flat surface is necessary to work on, and it should be surrounded by cutting boards and tools, such as knives, saws, and hooks. Position the fish. The fish should be placed on its side with its head towards the left or right. Remove the head. Using a large, sharp knife, make a cut just